So I brought you here today, back under the bridge, to give you part two of not being the kid in the middle. And the fact that it was validated, my claim that the man who attacked that woman that day was a full grown man, and he did go back to the hospital, the mental hospital. I know his name, and I don't have to tell you, because it's a narrative. And that was his social worker. I ran into the manager of that dollar store today, because I went there, and she confirmed it. She was like, "How did you know?" She's like, "How did you know?" And more or less was her own wording. And dude, I told her the truth. Like, dude, I've seen this before. I was a waiter at Applebee's, for about 8 years, damn near a decade, and I was an Applebee's corporate trainer elite. And you say I did some traveling for the company, and the social workers would come in, and that was the whole thing. It was the same thing, except they're at the dollar store. And this gentleman who had the mental capacity of about a 5-year-old, for whatever reason, maybe it was, who knows, post-traumatic stress disorder. You could say he was spazzing out like the Tasmanian devil, but despite being a large, full-grown man, he was harmless. He didn't actually want to hurt this woman, but he could have. It was just like when a child hits their parents. The 5-year-old who's 60 pounds isn't going to hurt anybody, but, one day he might be 36 and he could hurt somebody. But it's not about me, because I'm not violent in my nature. I wouldn't harm anybody or harm myself, but... So what's the point? The point is the soft skills I've developed over the last 3 decades of my life. From a very young age, I saw my mother's battle with schizophrenia. And it was anything but a mild case. I mentioned it before, she had hallucinations of all 5 senses. My mother passed away at age 60 after a long battle with cancer. And a much longer battle with schizophrenia that went untreated for a very long time. She didn't like the side effects of the pills back then. And maybe she just wanted to get outside and breathe some fresh air. When she was, allegedly in that mental hospital in Florida. Do I know what happened? No. My mother was 39 when I was born. I don't know what happened. Do I really know what happened when I went to the hospital in Chicago when I was 11 years old? No, I never will. They told me I was in a coma for 3 days, allegedly. They told me I had some sort of brain injury. So it was a bicycle accident. I was 11 years old. I'll never really know unless I see the data. How would you even know that's real? How do you know when anything's real? But I heard a large man running through this dollar store. And I knew he was running to something or from something or both. And the manager of that dollar store thanked me today. And, she's like, "Oh, it's a lot less wild in here." I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Man, I was in here for all of 2 minutes that day, 3 minutes. Came in, grabbed my drink, and went right to the register. And I just happened to be there. My father said timing is everything. And I knew what was happening in that moment. And I didn't act out of a manic or depressive state or a bipolar state, if you will. Maybe it's a constant state of mine, but I knew what was happening in front of me. And I knew he wasn't going to harm her. And I had to separate them and just tell him to sit down. And I told him the police was on the way, and he knew. He's like, I gotta go back. He knew he had to go back to the hospital. The man in the dollar store. Thankfully, between myself and the lady there at the dollar store, she's seen him before. She knew him. She knew his first name. Luckily, neither of us were the kid in the middle that day. And in the physical sense, no one was harmed. And there was one thing I forgot to mention is that this gentleman went and grabbed a toy gun. He knew right where it was. He went and grabbed a toy gun from the kids section. Think about that. A toy pistol, a toy revolver, a toy. Dude, a gun's a tool or a weapon, depending on how you use it, but a real gun's not a toy. I had a bunch of toy guns growing up. I had a whole arsenal. I had the pistols, revolvers, the shotguns, all that. Yeah, something me and my friends would do. We'd play, dude, and we'd literally run around the neighborhood shooting each other. Police would show up, dude, even if we did grow up in the cornfields. And all right, well, it's just a bunch of 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds running around pretending to shoot each other. But one day my mother decided to throw them all away when I was at school. I was so mad. But she did the right thing. She knew, even at 12 years old or whatever, I'd put the toy gun down. Because at 13 I would have picked up the paintball gun, and what would I have picked up at 18? And maybe I would have been running around the neighborhood, romanticizing a life that wasn't supposed to be mine. I'll leave it at that. Don't be the kid in the middle, part 2. Sometimes, pardon my language, sometimes shit isn't that deep. It's as shallow as a shower. And when you see someone spazzing out, you just have no idea what they've been through or what they've seen. That's the past. You say it is what it is what it was, or it is what it will be. Don't be the kid in the middle. Love you. Bye.